Drones are supposedly separating soldiers from the physical and psychological damage of combat, but could they be causing more harm than we actually know? Anthony here for D News, and drones are in the news a lot lately. Unmanned vehicles floating around in the air, watching us, keeping surveillance, fighting our wars for us. On a certain level, they make a lot of sense. Why put soldiers or police in harm's way? How much easier would it be to respond to unexpected trouble or disaster if we just had them all over our cities? But people are worried by the darker future that those things can point to. Reduced personal rights, for one, the possibility of living in a police state. But one of the biggest fears is that by removing humanity from war or law enforcement, things are going to get too severe. It's generally thought that a drone pilot sitting miles away on a computer, watching through a camera, will be less likely to feel anything about their actions, almost like turning war into a video game, which is a scary thought. But now it seems like we might have the opposite problem. Some research has shown that drone pilots feel just as much stress as fighter pilots, maybe even more, because even though they're safe at home, drone pilots actually deal with some very complex psychological issues. A lot of those issues have to do with the actual video feed that drone operators watch every day. In traditional combat, the aircraft bombs and it keeps flying, right? Pilots might picture what they've done in their heads, but they don't stick around to see it. But drone pilots watch the video feed after the bombs are dropped. They actually see the damage being done. And drone pilots also watch their targets for days in advance sometimes. So if it's a city street, they see the life in that street. If it's a particular person, they watch that person's day-to-day life. They get to know their targets and see them as real people and real places, more than just an abstract enemy. There's also an isolation that comes from not being in a military unit on a battlefield. Soldiers in combat get to talk to people who do what they do, people who've been in the same situations they have. A drone pilot often works in secrecy at a facility near their own home, which means they don't have anyone around who understands what they do on a day-to-day basis. They have nobody to vent to. And the separation of work and home is also a pretty important thing. There's evidence that the act of going home from battle actually helps people readjust to normal life after combat. Drone pilots have no separation. They might associate a place just 15 minutes down the road from their house with firing a missile at a compound. Okay, so what does all that mean? Well, for people who are pro-drones, it means that the human part of the equation doesn't go out the window, and that drone operators aren't seeing this as a game. But for people who are anti-drone, this new sort of mental and emotional stress is just another reason that they're hurtful to society. Where do you guys weigh in on this? I hover somewhere between nightmare invention and necessary evil. Let me know and subscribe for more D News.